While most people are still dreaming at 4 a.m., the unstoppable are already chasing their dreams. That is not just a clever phrase, it is a truth that separates those who achieve greatness from those who settle for mediocrity. Discipline before dawn is a force that rewires your mind, reshapes your habits, and rewrites your destiny. When the world is asleep, when comfort is at its peak, when silence wraps the earth, that is the exact time to prove to yourself that you are stronger than excuses, stronger than sleep, stronger than weakness. Waking up at 4 a.m. is not merely about the time on the clock. It is about the mentality it creates within you. It is about embracing discomfort as a weapon of transformation. Think about what happens when you rise at this time. You are not racing against anyone else, you are racing against your weaker self. The self that wants to stay comfortable under the blanket, the self that whispers that you deserve more sleep, the self that feeds you the lie of tomorrow. But the moment you decide to fight that voice and swing your feet out of bed at 4 a.m., you prove to yourself that discipline is stronger than temptation, and that single act, repeated daily, builds a character that cannot be broken. That is what discipline before dawn really is, the silent battle you win against yourself before the world even opens its eyes. The mind has a strange way of working. When you obey comfort, it grows stronger. When you obey discipline, it grows sharper. Rising at 4 a.m. is not convenient, it never will be. It is uncomfortable, sometimes painful, but it is also the hour when clarity flows easily. The distractions of the world are not awake yet. The messages, the emails, the endless chatter of life, none of them can reach you at this hour. It is just you, your thoughts, your vision, and the stillness of time. That stillness is powerful, because it allows you to focus on the things that matter most before chaos arrives. Discipline before dawn means you are ahead of the noise, ahead of the rush, ahead of the crowd. You have already planted the seeds of success, while others are still sleeping on their dreams. Every great achievement has been built on the foundation of discipline. Talent will give you potential, but discipline will convert potential into reality. Rising at 4 a.m. is the most tangible way to train discipline. It is a declaration that your goals are bigger than your comfort, that your future matters more than a few extra hours of rest, that your hunger for success outweighs your desire for ease. Each day that you do this, you build inner confidence. Not confidence built on empty affirmations, but confidence built on proof. Proof that you can do the hard thing. Proof that you are not controlled by weakness. Proof that you have the mental strength to live by choice, not by chance. Imagine the compound effect of this. One morning of discipline might not change your life, but a year of mornings at 4 a.m. will. That's 365 days of extra time. Time to sharpen your body, time to strengthen your mind, time to deepen your skills, time to strategize your future. The average person says they do not have enough time. The unstoppable create time. They do it by claiming the hours others waste in sleep. If you gain just 2 extra hours every morning, that's over 700 extra hours in a year. 700 hours of advantage over the world. 700 hours of practice, of learning, of building, of growing. 700 hours to transform yourself into a person others cannot compete with. That is what discipline before dawn gifts you. A head start so big that the average person cannot catch you even if they tried. There is another reason why this practice makes you unstoppable. It forces you to become intentional with your life. At 4 a.m., you cannot afford to rise without purpose. You do not wake up that early to scroll on your phone. You do it because you have a mission. That mission might be your health, your work, your studies, your craft, your dreams. Whatever it is, the early hours give you undisturbed focus to advance toward it. When you live this way, your days are no longer wasted in reaction. Instead, you live proactively, starting strong before distractions can steal your energy. That shift from reaction to creation changes everything. You stop being a victim of the day and become the master of it. That is the mindset of discipline before dawn. The beauty of waking at 4 a.m. is not just about productivity, it is about identity. You start seeing yourself differently. Each morning you conquer, you begin to realize you are not ordinary. You are not average. You are not bound by laziness. You are someone who chooses the path most will never choose. And that identity fuels everything else, because once you see yourself as disciplined, focused, and unstoppable, you begin to act like it in every area of life. You eat better, you work harder, you think sharper, you carry yourself with a quiet confidence. That identity, born out of early mornings, seeps into everything you do. You stop questioning if you can achieve something. You already know you can, because every day you have proof that you can do what most won't. There will be mornings when it feels impossible. Days when your body screams for rest, when your mind tells you that you deserve more sleep, when excuses appear more reasonable than discipline. But it is on those mornings that the battle matters most. Because discipline is not built when it is easy, it is built when it is hard. If you only rise early when you feel like it, you are not disciplined, you are dependent on moods. But if you rise even when you do not feel like it, then you are unshakable. That is what separates those who talk about dreams from those who live them. They choose discipline over feelings. Feelings are temporary, discipline is forever. There is also a spiritual power in the early hours. At 4 a.m., you are not just awake, you are connected. The silence sharpens your thoughts, clears your heart, and gives you a deeper sense of vision. The distractions of the day block that clarity, but in the stillness of the morning, your ideas become alive. Many of the most successful minds of history used early mornings for reflection, for creativity, for planning. There is a reason behind it. The early hours are pure, they belong to you, untouched by the world. If you fill them with intention, you begin to feel an inner alignment, a harmony between your actions and your goals. That alignment is rare, but discipline before dawn makes it possible. People often say, "I am not a morning person." But the truth is, no one is born a morning person. Discipline creates morning people. At first it feels unnatural, but with repetition it becomes identity. And once it becomes identity, it no longer requires willpower. It becomes who you are. You stop negotiating with yourself. You stop bargaining with excuses. You rise because that is what you do. That shift is life changing. Because when you no longer fight yourself every morning, you conserve energy to fight for your dreams instead. That is the power of disciplined repetition. It takes what once felt impossible and makes it inevitable. Consider the long-term transformation. The body adapts to discipline. The mind sharpens through repetition. The spirit strengthens through consistency. Waking up at 4 a.m. becomes more than a practice. It becomes a philosophy of life. A philosophy that says, "I will do what others will not, so I can achieve what others cannot." That is the language of the unstoppable. They are not interested in blending in with the crowd. They are not here to live an average life. They are here to maximize every ounce of potential within them, and that requires a discipline so strong that it begins before dawn. Even the psychology of rising early proves this point. When you conquer the hardest task of the day, getting up when your body resists, you set the tone for victory. You send a signal to your subconscious that you are in control. That mindset carries into everything else. You attack your work with more intensity. You face challenges with more resilience. You make decisions with more clarity. Your first victory at 4 a.m. cascades into a day filled with victories. This is why it is so powerful. It is not just about the hour, it is about the domino effect that follows. One disciplined act multiplies into a disciplined life, and discipline is contagious. Those around you begin to notice. They see your consistency, your focus, your results. They might laugh at first, call you crazy, say you're doing too much. But eventually, results speak louder than excuses. People respect discipline even if they do not practice it. They begin to ask how you do it, how you stay consistent, how you keep winning, and without realizing it, your discipline inspires others. You become the example, the proof, the standard, and there is no greater influence than being the person who embodies what others only talk about. Discipline before dawn is the training ground for greatness. It strips away weakness and forces you to become the kind of person capable of handling success, because success itself is heavy. It demands responsibility, sacrifice, resilience. If you cannot wake up at 4 a.m. for your own goals, how will you handle the weight of greater opportunities? Discipline before dawn prepares you for the weight of success. It strengthens your character, so when success arrives, you are not crushed by it, but capable of sustaining it. That is why the unstoppable rise early, not just for extra hours, but for the inner strength it creates. So when the alarm rings at 4 a.m. and you are tempted to stay in bed, remember this: the world is still asleep, but your destiny is awake. And destiny does not wait for comfort, it waits for discipline. Rise with discipline before dawn, and you will rise above limits, above mediocrity, above excuses. You will rise unstoppable. Every hour you spend before the world wakes up is like stolen time from success. At 4 a.m., you step into a window of opportunity that most people will never see. The streets are quiet, the world is still, and the distractions that normally consume your attention are nowhere to be found. That is the beauty of these hours. They are unclaimed, untouched, and waiting for someone bold enough to seize them. Most people say they don't have enough time to achieve their goals, yet they waste the most powerful hours of the day in bed. The unstoppable don't wait for more time. They take it from where others abandon it. They own the hours others waste. Think about the reality of modern life. As soon as the day begins, demands come rushing in. Your phone starts buzzing with messages, social media pulls you into endless scrolling, work responsibilities pile up, and the world competes for your attention. By the time most people attempt to focus on their goals, their energy has already been drained. That is why dreams stay as dreams. They never get priority, only leftovers. But when you rise at 4 a.m., the world is not awake to distract you. The phones are silent, the emails can wait, the noise of the day is hours away. You are free to focus entirely on your vision without interruption. That freedom is a rare advantage, and it belongs only to those who claim it. These early hours are not ordinary hours, they are sacred. They allow you to do the deep work that transforms lives. At 4 a.m., your mind is clear, unburdened by the weight of the day. Creativity flows naturally, focus sharpens, and concentration becomes effortless. This is when the most meaningful progress is made. Writing, planning, learning, exercising, meditating, whatever builds your future, can be done with full attention. The world is not pulling at you yet, so you can pull yourself forward. That is the gift of stolen hours, the chance to build when no one else is building, to advance when no one else is moving, to prepare while others are unprepared. Success has always been about leverage, and time is the greatest leverage of all. Everyone is given the same 24 hours, but not everyone uses them equally. The difference between the ordinary and the extraordinary is how they treat the hours no one else values. Most people treat the early morning as disposable, something to be wasted on sleep. But those who understand the value of time guard these hours like treasure. They know that each extra hour spent on growth creates a gap that others cannot close. 1 hour a day becomes 7 hours a week, 30 hours a month, hundreds of hours a year. That is time enough to master new skills, to build businesses, to transform health, to create wealth. The hours others waste become the hours that shape destiny. There is also a psychological advantage to owning these hours. When you wake at 4 a.m. and dedicate that time to your goals, you send a message to yourself. Your dreams are a priority. You are not leaving them for someday. You are not squeezing them into the cracks of your schedule. You are putting them first, before the world even has a chance to interfere. That decision rewires your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who wishes and start seeing yourself as someone who acts. You stop making excuses about lack of time because you have already created it. That shift in identity builds confidence, and that confidence fuels more action. It becomes a cycle of empowerment that others cannot replicate because they are still asleep. The truth is, wasted hours are the thief of success. Many people fail not because they lack talent, intelligence, or opportunity, but because they do not know how to use their time. They let precious hours slip away unnoticed. They tell themselves they will work on their goals tomorrow, but tomorrow becomes next week, and next week becomes never. Owning the hours others waste breaks that cycle. It forces you to stop procrastinating and start doing. You no longer wait for the perfect time, because the perfect time is now, in the quiet hours before dawn. And each morning you take advantage of this. You move one step closer to where you want to be. Some might argue that sleep is too important to sacrifice, and it is true, the body needs rest, but discipline is not about denying rest, it is about managing it. Going to bed earlier, structuring your evening, and cutting out wasted nighttime activities creates the space for early rising. The problem is not lack of sleep, the problem is misplaced priorities. Hours are wasted at night on television, social media, meaningless conversations, and distractions. Those hours could be traded for rest, which then fuels the ability to rise early. It is not about losing sleep. It is about choosing when to sleep so you can win the morning. When you own your schedule, you own your time, and when you own your time, you own your future. There is also a symbolic power in waking up at 4 a.m. It is a declaration that you are willing to do what others won't in order to live how others can't. It is a refusal to live by the patterns of the majority. The majority wake up late, rush through their mornings, and spend their days chasing distractions. The minority wake up early, control their mornings, and spend their days creating results. By owning the hours others waste, you join the minority, the group of people who understand that greatness is not about luck, but about strategy. And the most powerful strategy of all is to use time differently. Consider how unstoppable this makes you. While the average person is still sleeping, you are already working on your body, your mind, your goals. By the time they wake up, you have already achieved victories they cannot see. You have exercised, you have studied, you have planned, you have executed. They are starting their day at 0, while you are starting at 10. That gap grows larger every single day. Over time, it becomes impossible to compete with you, because you have built a foundation so far ahead that they cannot catch up. This is why the early hours matter so much. They are not just hours, they are advantage, and advantage is what makes someone unstoppable. It is easy to underestimate the value of these hours because progress is not immediately visible. One morning of rising early might not change much. But greatness is never built in a single moment. It is built in consistent small choices repeated over time. Waking at 4 a.m. is one of those choices. Each morning compounds into something larger, something permanent. It builds resilience, focus, and discipline. It creates momentum that carries into the rest of the day. You start the day already ahead, already in motion, already winning. And once you start winning early, it becomes difficult to lose later. There is also a mental clarity that comes with owning these hours. At 4 a.m., you are free from the pressure of performance, free from judgment, free from comparison. You are not rushing to meet deadlines or competing for attention. You are simply focused on becoming better than you were yesterday. That clarity allows you to think deeply, to reflect on your life, to plan with intention. Many people never experience this because they never give themselves the chance. They are too busy, too distracted, too reactive. But when you claim the early hours, you reclaim your ability to think, to imagine, to dream, and most importantly, to act. The difference between those who succeed and those who fail often comes down to what they do when no one is watching. It is easy to work hard when the world expects it of you. It is harder to work hard when no one cares, when no one notices, when no one applauds. That is what makes owning the hours others waste so powerful. No one is watching you at 4 a.m. There is no audience, no recognition, no applause. It is just you and your commitment. And when you can stay committed without needing external validation, you develop an inner strength that nothing can break. That inner strength is the true source of being unstoppable. People will always say they want more time. They want more time to work out, more time to learn, more time to build, more time to spend with family. But time is not given, it is taken. Those who rise early take it. They carve it out of the hours others waste. They understand that every excuse about lack of time is a lie, because time exists. It is just being used for the wrong things. When you learn to take back those hours, you eliminate excuses. You no longer say, I don't have time. Instead, you say, I make time. And that mindset separates the doers from the dreamers. Every great accomplishment requires sacrifice. To own the hours others waste, you must sacrifice comfort. You must sacrifice the easy pleasure of staying in bed. You must sacrifice late, night indulgences. But what you gain in return is worth infinitely more. You gain progress, discipline, freedom, confidence, and momentum. You gain the ability to design your life instead of drifting through it. You gain the respect of yourself because you know you are living with intention, not laziness. The trade is always worth it, because the hours wasted can never be recovered, but the hours owned can transform everything. The unstoppable are not those who simply dream big. They are those who are willing to pay the price of discipline to make those dreams real. Owning the hours others waste is one of the highest forms of discipline. It is proof that you value your future more than your comfort. It is proof that you are not afraid to stand apart from the crowd. It is proof that you are willing to do what others refuse to do, and in the end that proof becomes power. Power to control your day, power to control your direction, power to control your destiny. If you can control your mornings, you can control your life. The way you begin your day sets the tone for everything that follows. Most people start their mornings in chaos, rushing, distracted, and already behind. They wake up late, grab their phone before they even open their eyes fully, and allow the outside world to decide their mood, their focus, and their direction. By the time they leave their house, they are not leading their lives, they are reacting to everything around them. But those who control their mornings have already won the battle before it begins. They wake up with intention, discipline, and clarity, and that single choice builds a mindset that makes them unstoppable. The truth is, mornings are more than just a time of day, they are a reflection of who you are. If you wake up late, hit snooze repeatedly, and stumble into your day without focus, it shows a lack of control over your own life. But when you rise early, when you refuse to surrender to laziness, when you begin your morning with discipline, you are proving to yourself that you are in charge. You are not driven by comfort, you are driven by purpose. That is the mindset that separates those who simply exist from those who truly live. Controlling your mornings is not about being perfect, it is about being prepared. At 4 a.m., the world is silent. No interruptions, no demands, no chaos. It is just you and the opportunity to prepare yourself for greatness. This is where the unstoppable are made. They use these hours to sharpen their mind, strengthen their body, and feed their spirit. They visualize their goals, they train their discipline, they build momentum. By the time the rest of the world wakes up, they are already ahead. That sense of preparation creates confidence, and confidence creates action. Every morning becomes a launchpad for success, not a scramble to catch up. But the mindset of the unstoppable goes deeper than just waking up early. It is about mastering the small battles that most people ignore. When the alarm rings, your body whispers to stay in bed, to rest a little longer, to choose comfort over effort. The unstoppable ignore that whisper. They know that greatness is not built on what is easy, but on what is necessary. Each time they choose discipline over comfort, they reinforce their inner strength. That strength compounds over time until it becomes unshakable. They no longer need motivation. They have built a habit of action. They do not wait to feel like it. They act because it is who they are. That is the true mindset of the unstoppable. Controlling your mornings also means controlling your emotions. When you rise before the sun, you have time to ground yourself, to breathe, to align your thoughts with your goals. You are not rushing through traffic angry. You are not panicking over deadlines. You are not already stressed before the day has begun. You are calm, centered, and intentional. This emotional stability allows you to handle challenges with clarity instead of chaos. The unstoppable know that the world will always test them, but by mastering their mornings, they have already built the emotional resilience to remain steady no matter what comes their way. There is something powerful about knowing that you have already accomplished more before sunrise than most people will do all day. That knowledge fuels your confidence. It gives you a quiet pride, not in comparison to others, but in comparison to who you used to be. You begin to see yourself differently. You are no longer the person who makes excuses, who delays action, who lets the day slip by without progress. You are someone who takes charge, someone who chooses discipline, someone who is relentless in the pursuit of growth. That identity shift is the foundation of the unstoppable mindset. Once you see yourself as disciplined and focused, you begin to live that way in every area of your life. The unstoppable mindset is also about clarity of vision. Most people drift through their days without a clear idea of where they are going. They respond to whatever life throws at them, and years pass without significant progress. But when you control your mornings, you create space for reflection and planning. You set intentions for the day, you align your actions with your goals, and you remind yourself of the bigger picture. This clarity keeps you focused when distractions appear, and it keeps you moving forward when challenges arise. You are not wandering aimlessly, you are walking with purpose, and that purpose gives you an edge that most people will never experience. Many underestimate the power of small, consistent actions. They believe success comes from one big break, one lucky moment, one dramatic leap forward. But the truth is, success is built in the small, unseen, daily choices. Waking up early, exercising, reading, planning, reflecting. These are the bricks that build greatness. Most people are too inconsistent to see results because they only act when they feel inspired. The unstoppable understand that consistency beats intensity. They may not feel like waking up early every day, but they do it anyway. They may not feel like working out or reading or journaling, but they do it anyway. And over time, this consistency compounds into mastery. That is why they cannot be stopped. Their results are not based on mood, they are based on discipline. Another key element of this mindset is the refusal to live in excuses. The world is full of people who say they cannot wake up early because they are not morning people, because they are too tired, because they have too many responsibilities. Excuses are easy to make but costly to live with. Every excuse steals a piece of your potential. The unstoppable refuse to make excuses. They understand that discipline is not about convenience, it is about commitment. They know that their goals will not wait for them, and their dreams will not chase them back. They must act even when it is inconvenient. By eliminating excuses, they free themselves to take full responsibility for their lives. And responsibility is power, because when you accept that everything depends on you, nothing can stop you. The mindset of the unstoppable is also rooted in resilience. Rising at 4 a.m. is not always easy. Some days you will feel exhausted, some days you will fail, some days you will struggle. But resilience means getting back up again and again. The unstoppable know that failure is not the end. It is part of the process. They are not afraid of difficult mornings, because each challenge strengthens their character. They understand that every struggle is training, every setback is feedback, and every obstacle is an opportunity to grow. While others quit at the first sign of difficulty, the unstoppable persist until discipline becomes second nature. This mindset is not limited to mornings, it spills into every area of life. Once you learn to master the hardest part of the day, rising early and taking control, you begin to master other challenges as well. You approach your work with more focus, your health with more consistency, your relationships with more presence, and your goals with more determination. The discipline of the morning becomes the discipline of life. The habits you build in silence become the results you live in public. That is why the morning is so critical. It is not just about the hours gained, it is about the identity created. There is also a spiritual depth to controlling your mornings. The stillness before dawn has a way of connecting you to something greater than yourself. In those quiet hours, you are not just working on tasks, you are aligning with purpose. You can hear your inner voice more clearly. You can reflect on what matters, and you can strengthen your connection to your values. This alignment gives you a sense of peace and direction that cannot be shaken by the chaos of the day. The unstoppable are not just disciplined, they are grounded. They know who they are, they know where they are going, and they refuse to be distracted by what does not serve them. When you control your mornings, you also learn the value of preparation. Success is not built on luck but on readiness. By starting early, you give yourself the time to prepare mentally, emotionally, and physically for whatever the day may bring. You are no longer reacting to problems, you are anticipating them. You are no longer caught off guard, you are already steady. This preparedness creates a calm confidence that makes you seem unstoppable to others. But it is not magic, it is discipline. It is the quiet, consistent practice of owning your mornings so that you can own your life. The mindset of the unstoppable is not about being perfect. It is about being consistent. It is about showing up every morning, even when it is hard, even when no one notices, even when progress feels slow. It is about trusting the process and believing that every small choice adds up to something greater. It is about refusing to let comfort dictate your life. It is about demanding more from yourself than the world demands of you. It is about becoming the kind of person who is not limited by circumstance, but defined by discipline. If you can control your mornings, you can control your life. Because every morning is a fresh opportunity, a blank canvas, a new chance to prove to yourself who you are and what you are capable of. Most people waste that chance, but the unstoppable seize it. They wake up before the world, they take control before distractions arrive, and they build momentum before anyone else has started. That is why they cannot be stopped. Their power is not in a single morning, but in the countless mornings where they chose discipline over comfort, action over excuses, and purpose over laziness.